So William is not taking any more crap from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
I think that they are at the moment facing a real crisis. Meghan and Harry's crisis, completely of their own making.
Prince William has reached his limit, and this time it's not quiet frustration behind palace doors. This time lawyers are being called in. No warm welcome, no polite buildup, just the shocking reality. A future King of England is reportedly preparing legal action against his own brother over their mother's legacy. A promise made between two coping with lost sons. Now hanging by a thread because one of them appears ready to break it. Today's story dives straight into the storm. The alleged Princess Diana documentary plan. The broken brotherhood promise that insiders say was never supposed to be crossed. Meghan's quiet but powerful role behind the scenes. A role many believe pushed William past forgiveness. We'll also look at the real legal question. Can this project actually be stopped?
They're more desperate than ever. And I think that they don't know what to do other than to try and come back to Britain and rebuild themselves as some sort of members of the royal family.
And later, that viral NBA courtside appearance that sparked intense body language analysis and left royal watchers asking deeply uncomfortable questions about this marriage. Everything connects, and every detail matters. Let's set the stage clearly. The 30th anniversary of Princess Diana's passing arrives in 2027, a moment already expected to carry enormous global attention. At the same time, Harry and Meghan are now working under a significantly reduced Netflix arrangement after their original $100 million deal was not renewed under the same conditions. According to multiple reports, the couple is developing a new documentary centered on Diana's life, examining her relationship with the press, her struggles within the monarchy, and the emotional impact the tragic event had on her sons.
He's now considering all options, including legal routes, to stop his younger brother, who he views as a treacherous soul these days, from exploiting Princess Diana for money and allowing Meghan Markle to exploit Princess Diana for money so she is in some way connected by the public with that amazing woman.
On the surface, many viewers might ask, what's the problem? She was his mother. He loved her. Doesn't he have the right to tell her story? That question sounds reasonable until you understand what happened before. Back in 2017, marking the 20th anniversary of Diana's passing, William and Harry stood united. Together, they created two deeply respectful documentaries, one with the BBC and one with ITV.
Planned by Harry and Meghan to mark the 30th anniversary of Diana's death next year, with a major documentary series likely for Netflix, which of course does go against that principled agreement.
The tone was careful, emotional, and intensely personal. For a rare moment, the brothers appeared completely aligned, protecting their mother's memory side by side. When those projects were finished, something important reportedly happened behind the cameras. The brothers agreed that this would be the final large-scale anniversary tribute. Diana's memory would be honored privately, not turned into an ongoing media product. No contracts, no signatures, just an understanding between two sons who had reopened old wounds together and promised to preserve their mother's dignity. It was what many describe as a gentleman's agreement, the kind built on trust rather than paperwork, the kind that only works when both people believe the bond still matters. Now, according to royal insiders, Harry's decision to move forward with a new documentary suggests that agreement no longer applies, at least not to him.
This is all about the fact that Harry is going against an agreement that was made by the brothers at the 20th anniversary of Diana's death to no longer exploit her memory, to stop talking about her for good.
Sources close to William say his reaction was immediate and deeply emotional. Not irritation, not disappointment, genuine emotional strain. Palace figures reportedly described the situation using unusually blunt language, calling it controversy, deeply upsetting, and even a betrayal. And for the first time, the conflict may be moving beyond private family tension. Multiple reports claim William is actively consulting legal advisors to explore whether anything, legally or strategically, can be done to stop the project before it reaches the screen. William's anger isn't simply about a documentary being made. That's only part of the story. What reportedly pushed the situation from tension into outright fury is who is believed to be shaping the project behind closed doors. Sources close to the palace claim that Meghan Markle plays a major behind-the-scenes role in developing the documentary, and insiders say this single detail completely changed William's reaction.
And it's all gone wrong for her. And Meghan doesn't like things going wrong for her. And Harry has very little to add to the party. But that isn't enough to satisfy him. So I think there's a huge crisis coming, which will redouble all the problems for King Charles and William.
Until that point, frustration existed. After that, everything escalated. Here's the reality William is said to acknowledge privately. Harry does have a personal connection to Diana. She was his mother too. Their grief may look different, their healing may have taken separate paths, but the loss belongs to both brothers equally. No one disputes that. But Meghan never met Diana, not once. There are no shared memories, no private family moments, no personal experience of that loss. What she does have, critics argue, is a major media partnership that needs successful content, a public lifestyle that requires consistent income, and a clear understanding of how powerful the Diana name remains worldwide. According to sources familiar with William's thinking, this changes everything.
He is the heir to the throne, and I don't think that there are many companies that really want him to be absolutely disgusted by them. I don't think that's a good idea for anybody, and I would hope that if he couldn't do it via legal things, that actually to be very, very sure, you never know.
But Harry has no shame about this stuff, Angela, does it?
He reportedly views outside influence over Diana's story, especially when financial benefit is involved, not as remembrance, but as commercialization. Insiders claim he sees it as grief being repackaged into entertainment, a deeply personal line he believes should never be crossed. There's also years of history adding pressure to this moment. Meghan has often been compared to Diana in media conversations, described as the compassionate outsider, the woman who struggled inside the institution, the figure some say the palace failed to protect. Those comparisons have circulated publicly for years. William rarely responded outwardly, choosing silence instead. Privately, however, sources say those parallels have been extremely difficult for him. To William, Diana was not a narrative framework or a public relations comparison. She was his mother, a real person, not a symbol to be reused or reinterpreted for modern storytelling.
Prince William is said to be prepared to take legal advice over plans by his brother Prince Harry to produce a documentary marking the 30th anniversary of their mother, Princess Diana's death. Project sources have told Radar Online the future king finds the project sickening and deeply depressing and distressing. Their words actually are distressing, I should get that right. Harry and his wife Meghan are understood to be developing the Diana documentary project as part of their multi-million-dollar deal with the streaming service following their decision to step back from royal duties. Sources said the film would examine Diana's life, her treatment by the media and the monarchy, and the impact of her death on her sons.
That distinction reportedly matters more to him than anything else. Now comes the uncomfortable truth. Stopping this documentary through legal action would be incredibly difficult. Diana was a global public figure. Harry is her son. No written agreement exists limiting future projects. Both UK and US law strongly protect creative works about public figures, including documentaries about individuals who have passed away.
According to insiders, the prospect of revisiting Diana's story in a commercial production has reopened old wounds between the brothers. But one source said Harry, I would argue Meghan, is determined to proceed. Harry is utterly convinced that commemorating his mother is something he has an inherent right to do as her son.
Legal advisors can send warnings. They can apply pressure. They can explore motions or negotiations. But most royal legal commentators agree on one point. A lawsuit alone is unlikely to shut the project down completely. In many ways, legal action functions more as strategic leverage than an actual shutdown button. Where William may hold real power is somewhere else entirely: institutional influence. Netflix is not only connected to Harry and Meghan, the company has also collaborated with King Charles on previous productions. Maintaining access to royal cooperation, palace relationships, and future projects involving the future King of England carries enormous value. And insiders believe that reality could quietly shape decisions happening far away from public view. A direct message from William to Netflix executives may never appear in headlines, but insiders believe it wouldn't need to.
He's now considering all options, including legal routes, to stop his younger brother, who he views as a treacherous soul these days.
At that level, communication rarely happens through dramatic legal letters. Instead, influence travels through private conversations, trusted intermediaries, and quiet signals understood instantly by powerful decision-makers. One discreet conversation could carry more weight than months of courtroom filings. The same strategic reality exists across the streaming industry. William has already worked with major platforms himself. Amazon partnered with him on a wildlife documentary project, while Apple TV collaborated with him on another high-profile production. Behind the scenes, the global streaming world is far smaller and far more relationship-driven than audiences realize. Yes, Harry and Meghan's first-look agreement means Netflix reviews their projects first. But if Netflix decides to pass, the proposed Diana documentary could easily move elsewhere. Amazon, Apple, or another international platform eager for attention-grabbing content. That's where William's potential strategy becomes fascinating.
I understand why William feels this way. I actually feel his anger. I feel his disgust. I think he's right to feel that. Do I believe that there is any realistic legal route to him in some way stopping this documentary? I do not believe so. I do not believe so. Because there was nothing signed between William and Harry. It was a gentleman's agreement made public between brothers. William felt it deeply. Harry was able to throw it out the door the moment Meghan Markle came along. And I just think William will absolutely consult with lawyers. He might make a threat, but in reality, I don't believe he will be able to stop this project on a legal basis.
Rather than fighting one company publicly, he could simply ensure that multiple platforms quietly decide the project is not worth the controversy. No public confrontation, no explosive lawsuit, just doors closing one by one. Whether William would actually pursue that level of pressure remains uncertain. Applying institutional influence requires careful calculation and emotional distance, something difficult when family conflict is involved. Still, insiders say the option exists, and it may ultimately prove far more powerful than any legal battle ever could. Now shift completely, because while these serious negotiations and tensions unfold behind palace walls, a moment far away from royal corridors suddenly captured global attention. An NBA courtside appearance that sparked intense debate and raised questions reaching far beyond basketball.
She recently attended an NBA game, and because she doesn't really like publicity, she sat courtside with Harry and had to nudge him to smile for the camera. We've actually gone so far as to slow it down to slow-mo so that we can be sure we zero in. Let us see.
Harry and Meghan appeared sitting front row, surrounded by cameras, celebrities, and non-stop media coverage. These were not ordinary seats. They were the most visible seats in the arena, designed for maximum exposure, constant filming, and worldwide social media circulation. This instantly caught observers' attention. The same couple who previously argued that relentless press attention caused emotional strain, who spoke openly about needing privacy and distance from intrusive media, chose to place themselves directly under one of the brightest celebrity spotlights imaginable.
Here she is. Oh, hi. There you are. Rubbing the arm. Give your photo up. So, Maureen, there it is. There's the slow-mo. Oh, yeah.
The eyes.
You can't miss. Darling, this is the whole reason we're here. That's really what she's saying there. Look into the damn camera and get me my shot. If you're not looking, then they're not looking at me.
So there's a couple of things about that. This is what Mark Bowden calls trophy behavior.
Oh.
So in doing this, Meghan is showing off her trophy. And she's trying to animate the trophy to make sure that we're communicating that the trophy is as much in love with me as I am with him.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then when you slow it down and you look at the minute he looks straight at the camera, it's a micro pause, but his eyes look like he could kill.
When viewers watched the footage closely, small details began circulating online. Meghan appeared energetic and socially engaged, frequently interacting with people nearby and showing clear awareness of camera angles. Harry, meanwhile, sat beside her with hands tightly clasped, posture slightly turned away. At one moment, when a camera focused on him, she gently nudged him, prompting a brief wave before he quickly looked away again. Several commentators analyzing the footage pointed out another observation. Meghan reached toward him multiple times during the evening, while Harry did not visibly return those gestures. That detail quickly became a topic of discussion across social media and entertainment commentary. Now, this part matters. Interpreting a marriage based on a few seconds of public footage is not reliable science. Any couple can appear tired, distracted, or uncomfortable under intense public attention. Public events, especially ones filled with cameras, can feel overwhelming for anyone, particularly someone known to have a complicated history with media scrutiny. No serious conclusion about a relationship should ever come from a single basketball game.
You go to play. We see it in New York City at the Knicks games all the time.
Yep.
Like Spike Lee is like practically like a fixture there, has been forever. Even the most recalcitrant, cranky celebs who sit
Here
like
she
they
is next
play.
to Queen Latifah, FY.
Okay, so do you think that was like whoever does the seating for those games, effing with her a little
Like
bit?
subversive.
Here's a queen.
The Queen
Here's
next
Queen
to the
effing
Duchess.
Latifah.
She's higher than you.
However, one fact remains undeniable. A couple whose post-royal identity has strongly emphasized the emotional cost of media attention intentionally chose the most photographed seats in one of America's most photographed arenas on a high-profile night. That placement was not random. It was deliberate. Sources familiar with celebrity publicity strategies suggest the appearance functioned as a carefully managed public relations moment, a highly visible display meant to project unity, confidence, and stability under the brightest possible spotlight. While the documentary rumors continue to spread, another layer of tension is quietly building. Public opinion. Royal watchers, media commentators, and longtime supporters of the monarchy are now split into two loud camps, and the divide is impossible to ignore.
William will never let him do anything for the royal family. Absolutely nothing. So he's got to think about that carefully.
He has to think about the repercussions of his actions, although I think maybe Harry is understanding that the horse has bolted on that front, Angela.
On one side, people argue that Harry has every right to tell his own story. They say he lived it too, and believe sharing personal memories of Diana could help a new generation understand who she really was. Supporters claim this isn't exploitation, it's healing. They point out that Harry has spoken openly about grief, therapy, and mental health struggles for years, framing the project as a continuation of that message, rather than a betrayal. But on the other side, critics are raising serious concerns, and they are not whispering anymore. Many believe the timing feels strategic rather than emotional. They question why another major Diana project would appear exactly when new commercial opportunities are needed, and media attention is shifting. Online discussions have grown intense, with commentators asking whether remembrance and business have become too closely connected. Inside royal circles, the silence has been just as loud as the controversy itself.
William actually would be able to do this because, of course, he can appeal to Harry's morality, but does Harry have a sense of morality anymore? I would argue not, after the way that he has trashed his own family for the past 6 years. Legally, does what was a gentleman agreement made in public really mean that Harry could be stopped from doing this? I would be surprised. But this is very interesting reporting from Radar Online, which says that Prince Harry is set to lawyer up on Prince Harry to stop him and Meghan.
Buckingham Palace has made no official statement. Kensington Palace remains equally quiet. No denials, no confirmations, no public criticism, just controlled calm. And in royal tradition, silence often speaks louder than words. Observers familiar with palace strategy suggest this quiet approach is intentional. Responding publicly could escalate the conflict and turn a private family disagreement into a global spectacle overnight. By saying nothing, the palace avoids adding oxygen to the story while allowing public debate to unfold on its own terms. Meanwhile, insiders claim William's frustration goes beyond one project.
That's the reason William and Harry produced these two landmark documentaries, one for the BBC, one for ITV, for the 20th anniversary, because that was their option of actually preserving her legacy. That was how they chose to do it. And so to say now that in some way that 20th anniversary documentary was hijacked by the palace is just wrong. They've already done it. Harry is doing this for money. Meghan is doing this for money and clout.
According to reports circulating among royal correspondents, there is growing concern about how royal history is being rewritten through competing narratives. Each interview, each documentary, Each personal account adds another version of events, and once those stories enter the public arena, they become almost impossible to correct. That's where the stakes rise dramatically. This is no longer just about a film. It's about legacy, memory, and who ultimately controls the story of one of the most famous families in the world. For William, protecting Diana's image reportedly means preserving dignity and restraint. For Harry, supporters argue, speaking openly represents honesty and personal freedom. Two completely different philosophies, colliding in real time. The media environment makes everything more intense. Social media clips spread instantly. Headlines move faster than facts. Short video moments shape global opinions before full context even exists. Every appearance, every gesture, every rumored meeting becomes material for endless analysis. And behind all of this sits an uncomfortable question many royal watchers are beginning to ask out loud. Is reconciliation between the brothers still possible?
I think William would concede that Harry at least has a right to talk about their mother. But for William, the idea that Meghan is going to keep trying to piggyback on Diana, which is something that she has done now for some time, is of course going to be disturbing. And the source added, what has struck a nerve for William is the extent of Meghan's role in the project. He feels that allowing her to influence or derive any benefit from Diana's legacy crosses a deeply personal boundary, and he experiences it as a betrayal of his mother rather than a tribute. And I think it is.
Years ago, public appearances showed unity, shared smiles, shared memories, shared grief. Now each new development seems to widen the distance instead of closing it. Friends of the family reportedly described the situation as deeply sad rather than dramatic. Not a sudden explosion, but a slow fracture that keeps growing wider with every public decision. The tragedy, according to those observers, is that both brothers may believe they are protecting their mother's legacy while moving further away from each other with every step forward. All of this unfolds at a moment when separation rumors surrounding Harry and Meghan have been appearing more frequently across both American and British tabloids. Headlines have grown louder, speculation sharper, and public curiosity stronger than ever. The NBA appearance, according to some commentators, looked less like a casual night out and more like a carefully timed response to those rumors.
He looks he doesn't want to be there, and he doesn't want to be engaging with the media that they ran away from.
Yeah.
Running for their lives.
That I think he genuinely hates.
Oh, I do too.
But she doesn't.
Oh no, she loves it. And you know, the other thing is, like, you go, those seats are very coveted, even among celebrities.
And very expensive.
Courtside seats. And if you go to play.
But whether that strategy actually worked is highly debatable, because the images that traveled fastest online were not the smiling, glamorous moments expected from a relaxed couple enjoying a basketball game. Instead, the clips that spread everywhere showed Harry appearing distant, almost like a man mentally somewhere else entirely. Viewers repeatedly commented that he looked distracted, uncomfortable, even disconnected from the energy surrounding him. When all the pieces are connected, a clearer picture begins to form. Reports suggest Harry and Meghan are facing genuine financial pressure. Their original Netflix agreement was not renewed under the same large-scale terms, and several independent brand ventures have reportedly delivered mixed results rather than massive success.
And it seemed to me like, oh, is this the night where, like, high-profile couples who have divorce rumblings swirling all around them go to show the world that, like, everything's cool?
Yeah, it could have been.
I'm not buying it.
But it really is a joke. Like, honestly, it's the South Park. We want privacy. We want privacy. Front row courtside. You know, it's not, like, I go to Knicks games with my family. Mm-hmm. I took my young guy, my 12-year-old, just the two of us, and it was super fun. We went as like a mom-son date. We didn't sit there.
Maintaining life in Montecito is not simple or inexpensive. The estate itself, full-time security teams, professional staff, international travel, media consultants, and constant public relations management all require steady, high-level income. Experts familiar with celebrity branding say that level of operation demands continuous financial momentum, not occasional projects. And right now, critics argue that momentum may not be matching expectations. Against that backdrop, a Diana anniversary documentary begins to look different. Emotionally meaningful, yes, but also commercially logical. Princess Diana remains one of the most recognizable and emotionally powerful figures of the modern era. her story still commands worldwide fascination decades later. A documentary featuring Harry's personal reflections, the son who lived through those events, would immediately attract global attention. One insider reportedly described the concept as irresistible to streaming platforms searching for guaranteed audience engagement.
They also love to shit talk Meghan Markle. I got one from a welder the other day.
No way.
He was like, yeah, like I'm in the shop all the time. I used to catch a ton of shit for listening to your show. And then one day I was like, you got to come over here and hear what the Nerve is saying about Meghan Markle. And they were like, all into it.
Oh, don't mind if we do.
Don't mind if I do.
The potential viewership would be enormous. The financial return could be significant. But the deeper question isn't about money. It's about cost in every other sense. Moving forward with such a project may carry consequences that cannot be repaired. By most accounts, Harry's relationship with William is already severely damaged. A project centered on Diana's legacy, especially one viewed as commercial, could permanently close whatever fragile connection still exists between them. There is also the personal narrative Harry has built over recent years. Much of his public messaging has focused on healing, honesty, and protecting vulnerable people from harmful systems. Critics argue that producing a major anniversary documentary through a commercial streaming partnership, particularly with Meghan involved behind the scenes, makes that narrative harder to defend.
They are at the moment facing a real crisis. Meghan and Harry's crisis, completely of their own making, is they have no major projects, no major money earners. And so they're more desperate than ever. And I think that they don't know what to do other than to try and come back to Britain and rebuild themselves as some sort of members of the royal family. I think that's what the Invictus Games, which is this very splendid competition for wounded servicemen, is going to start in Birmingham next year, but there's a rehearsal later in the summer. And Harry is determined to come, and if he could, he'd bring Meghan and somehow work his way back in so that they have state.
To some observers, it risks looking less like healing and more like strategy. And yet, sources suggest Harry remains determined. His reported view is clear. Diana's memory belongs to no institution, no palace, and requires no official permission. He is her son, supporters say, arguing that gives him the right to tell her story however he chooses. That argument carries weight. But as many commentators point out, having the right to do something does not automatically mean the decision will be seen as right by everyone. What we may be witnessing now is not just another royal disagreement, but the final unraveling of a brotherhood once defined by shared loss.
This places Harry directly at odds with William. Sources said the Prince of Wales views the project as exploitative. Well, it clearly is. From William's point of view, this crosses a line that none of their past disputes ever approached. He feels that transforming his mother's life into marketable content is deeply distasteful, and he firmly believes Diana herself would have been appalled by the idea of her story being repackaged for profit, especially by a global streaming platform. The involvement of Netflix has further inflamed tension.
Two young boys, only 15 and 12, walking behind their mother's memorial moment as the world watched in silence. Two adult men who later stood side by side to honor her memory with care and unity. And now, according to reports, one brother is consulting lawyers against the other over Diana's name and over a promise they once made to each other. Princess Diana spent much of her life asking to be understood, not as an icon, not as a headline, but as a mother trying to protect her family and make sure they would grow up safe and emotionally secure. She fought to be heard. She fought to shield her sons from pressures she knew too well. Many believe she deserved more compassion from the institution that struggled to support her. And some now wonder if her legacy deserves greater care today as well. So here's the question everyone watching must decide for themselves. Does Harry truly believe this project honors his mother's memory? Or have financial realities, public attention, and the fight to remain relevant slowly change the mission he once said guided every decision he makes? Share your thoughts below, because this debate is far from finished, and every perspective adds to the conversation. If you found this story interesting, don't forget to like the video, share your opinion in the comments, and subscribe to Crown Clash, where a brand new royal story drops every single day.